On this episode of Photo Fitness, I'm going to show you how I edit a whole bunch of pictures down into a 10-image Instagram story. Now, I took a whole bunch of pictures the other day through the CBD. Now, I'm not going to edit every single photo. I'm just going to focus on this graffiti section for the purpose of this demonstration. So I've highlighted those and I'm going to give them all a 1-star rating like that. 1 star. There they all are. Now, the biggest issue we have is that we have to decide what is the crop that we're going to have for all of these images, because Instagram only lets you have 1 crop ratio per set of images, right? If you're having like a multiple image story, it all has to be in the same crop. Either it's 4:5, 1:1, or a landscape crop. All right, so this is going to be my establishing shot. It shows you the alley, that's the entire street. Kind of want to have this towards the end, so that image 10. So what I'm not liking so much is this sort of plain, flat imagery. It's fine, but it just looks messy. Whereas something like this, you're seeing more. Whereas with this, I don't know what this is, right? It's just a bunch of pretty colors and lines and stuff. Whereas this is an actual thing. This is a gate, the bin goes into a further sort of alleyway. There's more going on here than this stuff, right? This is all nice, fine, close-up detail because I actually used images in a journal. So these are fine for like texture reasons, but for the sake of a story shot in a landscape, they're not that useful. So I'm gonna get rid of these ones. Like that's better. Culture Kings. I never went into that store. I hope to one day, but see, like stuff like that, that's more, there's more going on in these images. Kind of got this photo from earlier. I need that. There's a better one from earlier. Now I've got 3 images, the exact same. One of these photos, I forget which one exactly, but I ended up using this as the cover for my journal. So I don't know if I want to keep one of these or not. Which is the best one? The middle one's the best. So now we've got these 2. These are very similar images. I like this one more, so that's going out. It would be good for like a book, but not for an Instagram post, I don't think. Well, we're getting somewhere now. So we've got to choose which are the best images. So I'm going to move, because I'm doing a split story here. So it starts off with the graffiti lane here, then we end up in AC/DC lane, right? I'm going to take all of these. This is part of AC/DC lane. So I'm going to bring this back here, move all of these ones. This is in AC/DC lane 2. And along. And all of these can be put here. So now we've got to cut these down. So what I'm doing now is just looking through and like seeing what catches my eye the most, what looks best next to each other. And if it annoys me, I'm gonna get rid of it. And I also want to play around with like the sequencing of these images. Like I don't want to have this being a majority of like lots of blue, then go to say another image that has just as much blue. I want to break it up. What happens if I put this image here? Does this look better now? Before? See, I do like this image. I like this a lot. See, what I like about this one is it's kind of like a frame within a frame within like this like frame here. Like lots of layers going on here. It's okay to be ruthless with your image selections, right? We're getting close. We've got to get one more out. So I'm happy with this. It's not the greatest image, but it does kind of give context to where this next section takes place in, right? So it actually says, you know, AC/DC lane. There's Malcolm Young. Malcolm Young there. Bon Scott. AC/DC. Melbourne, right? Visual context is important, right? You know, this is where we are. This is See how I just noticed that there? That is over here. That's right here. Now, that's there. That's like next door. Now, see how I just realized that now this is in more better order, because you can see that is this, that is these two right here. So maybe moving this one closer here, right? That is there, that is over there, that is over there. Now, what goes? You know what? This one. Gone. There we are. 10 images that tell a story. The first image to the last image. Took a trip down this street with all the graffiti. There's context to where there it is based on this first image. Then we're starting to transition. I'm going to use this as my transition image. So it's Australia, but there's some like rock and roll stuff going on. Then, oh look, we're now at AC/DC Lane. Here it is. Malcolm Young, Bon Scott in Melbourne. Next obvious thing to do is to edit them further. Now you've got a couple of options. You can just use like a preset. I've got these Kodachrome looking ones. I want to use the last one and just see how that looks. So I'm going to select all, sync, check all, take the crop out, take the exposure out, and sync them across and see how that looks. That's one option, because you want to be somewhat consistent. You don't just want to have deselect. I'm going to change the camera profile, and I want to use the Velvia camera preset because I am a Fujifilm shooter, and so I can change the color of my preset. You could also try the Adobe Vivid. It's not as nice. You could do Adobe Portrait, color, standard 2, but I'm gonna go, I know what Classic Chrome will look like now. You know what? I am gonna change this. So I'm gonna start with Classic Chrome, bring the warmth up just a little touch. Then I'm gonna change all these. No. We're just gonna keep these as Classic Chrome. Let's just do that. Check on treatment. There we go. That is the 10 images for Instagram. Export settings. I'm just going to select all. Export. Melbourne IG T. So I'm just going to go custom name, custom sequence, because these are all out of order from the original photography files. And I'm going to change the long edge down to 1080. You definitely don't need 300 pixels. You can absolutely just use 72 pixels per inch, because this is going to be seen on a screen, and 1080 is more than enough for an Instagram post. Now you could, if you want, add some sharpening. These images are plenty sharp, so there's no real need to do that. I'll export these and I'll show you the results. The great thing about resizing them and reducing the size overall is that they're just going to upload so much faster, and it's going to be much easier to post than if they were at the full resolution. And there you have it, folks. That is how you edit all your images down into like the best 10. And there you have it. That is my guide on how to edit 10 images down into a 10 image Instagram story. See you tomorrow.